Hello everyone, welcome back to Colouring with Kate. Thank you for joining me today. So welcome back to part 4, I think, of my background options in colouring books. And so today what we're looking at is using soft pastels, including the stick ones and the pan pastels and chalk pastels, and then something else which is using pencil sort of shavings of the, not the shavings, the actual lead bit, you'll see what I mean, and Prismacolor Art Sticks for backgrounds. So those are the two main things, the pastels and the Prismacolor Art Sticks slash pencils. So let's start with soft pastels, sorry. So the ones I've got are the just some cheap brand which I've had for quite a while, are the Reeves soft pastels, and I've got 36 of these, and to be honest, I barely use these now because I've got pan pastels and I really like using them because there's much less dust and I'm affected by the dust quite a lot, so that's why I use the pan pastels now. But these are a cheaper alternative, and I started with these first to use for backgrounds. So excuse me, just to show you how I use them then. So I get a craft knife, so I'll bring you in a little bit so that you can see a bit better. So I'll just demonstrate on here. I mean, you'll have seen this many times before, but I just thought I'd include it in my series because I do use pastels for backgrounds. So using my craft knife, and then I'll choose a colour. So let's have, say, this purple here, and then just very gently, depending on how intense you want the colour, it just comes off really easily. The pastel, they're quite chalky, these ones. So these are soft pastels rather than your oil pastels. So I don't really use oil pastels for my colouring books because I'm not really sure if they'd work too well and whether they transfer onto another page. So I'm just using a few colours, and then I'm going to see how it blends together. So I'll place them where I want. Oops, let me get that done. Right, okay. And then, and your hands do get a bit messy with this. And then I just get one of my cotton wool pads, and then just sort of, you know, it works well, to be honest. You know, it's very an easy way to get a pastel background, and then just try to push it into the paper. And of course the pastels are really easy to erase, so if you do go over something you can use your eraser to sort of go over it. And then there's some dust left behind which I can just blow off. So yeah, that's how I do that. And then you can see here that there's not much purple, the green sort of taken over it a little bit, and I just add some more and then add that in here. As with most things, it's trial and error. And where I don't want the colour to transfer, I keep sort of using a new bit of my cotton pad to allow that to happen. So I'll just blow off the excess dust, or rather than blow it off, you can just tap it off onto some paper, which is what I'm doing now. And then there we are. So that is an example of using your soft pastels, which are the stick version. That's an easy, simple, quick sort of background for you, and you know, that's what I use particularly for books where the paper is quite thin, so Amazon printed books where I can't use my Neocolor 2s or Inktense because the paper's too thin to cope with the water. So they're a good option for books where the paper is quite thin. it's quick and easy. So pan pastels are rather more expensive, and bring you out a bit. So they are rather more expensive, but they're more pigmented, and you know, they're really nice to use, and I mean less messy. As you can see, my hands are all filthy now, but which I'm going to sort out. So basically, pan pastels you can also buy, I think, yeah, individually if you want to try them out from Jackson's Art. So rather than buy a set of, say, a starter set of 5, I think they come in a pack of 10 as well, and you could just buy some single ones, and they can cost from about, I think, £6 or £7. Okay, so that's that. So now how I'd use this would be to use Pastel Tools. So there's a variety here. I really think these are really good here. The baton blenders from Jane Davenport, I really like using those. I think they work really well, so they're an option. And then when you buy the sets, you do get I think one of these with the set usually, which is a few Pastel Tools, or you can just use, you know, eyeshadow blenders. I can't see why they would not work, although this came with the sets that I did buy. And then this is a separate sort of tool that you can also buy. I think I bought this a single one, and it came with some spares, some spare sponges to put on the tip. So with this, really straightforward again. I've got some pearlescent pastels there. I think they come in metallic as well, and then some usual colours. So these are I think these ones here that you can see at the bottom, these 5, I think they're the pearlescent ones. So they've got a little bit of a shimmery effect. So let's use this blue. So you only need to use a bit as well, and you can see how pigmented they are. So you can apply them using this tool, and you don't need to press particularly hard either. And then I'll use a bit of green here, and they just blend so well, beautifully. And then between colours you can just use a scrap piece of paper to get the excess colour off. It seems to work quite well. So yeah, and I'm just going to use another colour now. Just clean that off a little bit off here. So I'm going to use one of my, maybe I should have cleaned it beforehand, but I didn't. It's always something I forget when I'm making a video. Let's use a new one. So I'm going to use a new one of these, the Jane Davenport baton blenders. They're just so good, I highly recommend them. I think you can get them off Amazon, but I actually bought them from a while ago from Hobbycraft. So let's go for a nice red colour there. You can see how I just tapped the sponge onto the pastel, and you just get such intense colour. So you know, they'll last you ages. So yeah, they're an option that you could use. And the best thing about these ones, these blenders, is that they don't particularly wear out very quickly, which is obviously a good thing, because when I've used this one here, that does tear. I don't know if you can see there, it does tear. Maybe I was too heavy-handed with it, but I don't think I was. But yeah, I think these are much more robust and cheaper as well, because I think the pan pastel tools are quite expensive. Okay, so that's that one. That's your usual pan pastels, and like I said, you could get them, maybe try a couple open stock just to see if you like them, instead of investing in a set, which would cost more. The next option, which again is pastels, are the chalk pastels. Now, I bought these many years ago, and I have used them, but I haven't really used them for quite a few years. So I found them the other day when I was having a clear out, and I thought I should use these. So it comes with this sort of a crocodile clip thing to hold the cotton wool balls, and then you just, maybe being camera might help, clip on the little cotton wool balls and then onto your pastel, and then just, so you get a much more subtle effect. Yes, more subtle effect, sorry, like this. And just to mention also that I do fix my pastel work once I've done the background with a fixative. I use a Spectra Fix. There are other fixatives that you have to use outside, but the Spectra Fix is one that you can use inside because it's got no nasty chemicals. So I use that one. I think it might be a workable fixative, as I've used it as a workable fixative, so I've gone in with more pastel and it's been fine. It doesn't actually say workable fixative on it, I don't think, but it seems to work as a workable fixative. So yeah, I'm just using two colours here, and I really like that actually. So I think I might use chalk pastels more. These are a quite good price as well that you can buy on Amazon. Excuse me. So I think they come in different versions as well. I think there's metallics, there's some pastel shades. This is the basic bright shades pack. So I think maybe put the cotton wool back as well, and the applicator. Yeah, so they're quite a good price on Amazon, and there's different versions. So this is another option that you could go for. So that's the pastels. So now I'm going to show you some examples of the pages that I've completed with pastels. So I'm going to just put this at the side because I don't want it to really get onto my books. So this book here, Fantastic Zoo by Kami Chidu, I first saw Imogen from Colouring Kid with this book, and I fell in love with all the pictures, and so she enabled me, so thank you. And I think she uses pastels as well for the backgrounds, and I do as well, because I don't think the paper personally can withstand watercolour, and I think it looks really nice with pastel backgrounds. So this is all done with pastels. Not all done, sorry, the background is all done with pastels. The rest of it is pencil. But yes, I use I think all my backgrounds in this book will be with pastels. And then another example, just to show you, is this background for this giraffe picture. So yeah, I love the way pastels blend, and I like that they're really quick as well, you know, to use. So those are two examples. Another example from another book just is from the Whimsical World Big Book, and it's this one. So I use pastels for the background on here, and then I just used an eraser to sort of get rid of some of the pastels, so it gives a circle effect, a nice sort of, a little bit like a bokeh effect, but not quite, but it gives a nice background effect. So just a few little circles. I hope you can see the circle bits in the background here, the white sections. So that's a couple of examples of that. And finally, I'm going to show you how I use Prismacolor Art Sticks. So let me just get those. So I bought these, I think, maybe a couple of years ago, Prismacolor Premier Art Sticks. So this is the Prismacolor Premier Core the actual colour core as in here without the wood basically, so it's just pure pigment without the wood, so it says it on there as well, woodless coloured pencils. So I think these were about just under £50 when I got them, and I was after them for a while because we didn't seem to be able to get them in the UK. I know they're widely available in the US, but these are really nice, and the way I use them sometimes for my background is similar to how I use soft pastels really. So let's go for, say, a green, and then I just use my craft knife again to bring you in a little bit, and then I just scrape it off like that, and then take other colours that I might want to place with it. So this is a lighter green now. I think 36 is the biggest set you can get in the Prismacolor Art Sticks, and then maybe a light green here. It comes off really easily, and so this isn't as, obviously they're not soft, these are quite hard, you know, compared, they're not pastels, they're just the pencil core of the Prismacolor pencil core. So then I just take a pad, just like I would with the soft pastels, and work it into the paper. And I start off with less pressure, and then sort of move them around, you know, move the little bits of pigment around. And yeah, that's I mean, I've used this maybe a couple of times, 2-3 times, but when I don't really fix this with a pastel fixative. So when I use these Prismacolor Art Sticks, I don't use a fixative because I find that it doesn't really need it. You could if you wanted to, but I don't, because I don't think it transfers. I think it's quite set into the paper, and then I just put more pressure in when I'm happy with how it looks. So that's that. So you can see I've not really got anything off my onto my finger for that. So yeah, that's another thing you can do. Now if you don't have the art sticks, another way that I I don't really use this method, but when I was at school, me and my friend used to use this method. So just show you, get a pencil, and then what we do is we use a sharpener, and I just take off a bit of the pencil core like that. So it's basically similar to the previous method. Now I'd probably do this with pencils that I'm not too precious about. So like that, and then maybe a blue here as well. So I'm just taking off the core like that. So I don't really use this method anymore, but we used to do it when we used to be at school. We used to do our, like to present our work well and make it colourful. And so look, you can get the same effect really as you do with the art sticks. If that's, I mean, I'd use a softer pencil to do this because it'll be easier. But I'm sure we use just Crayola pencils and it should work fine. So yeah, that's another option of using the core, getting some of the core off with the sharpener, and then just you know, working it into the paper. So I think, actually, before I finish, show you an example of where I've used the Prismacolor Art Sticks is in this A Million Mermaids book. I was just about to finish my video and I thought, no, I'm not quite yet done. not done quite yet. So here, I mean, I have got some confetti on top, but the bluey green background is with the Prismacolor Art Sticks. So I used that for the background, and it was quick and easy to do. There were, you know, it was a simple background. There weren't many places where it was difficult to get in, because it's not a very detailed page. It's sort of easy to do the background. So there's that one, and then the other one where I think I've used the Prismacolor Art Sticks again is here, in the Rita Berman In the Water sorry, excuse me, the Under the Water book. And yeah, so I think I used it for a background with these lovely puffer fish as well. Okay, so I think I am done now. So I hope you enjoyed this video and saw how you could use pastels and maybe pencil or art sticks as, you know, ways in which you could complete backgrounds. So if you did like it, please press the thumbs up button, and until next time, take care and bye.